Okay, so the essential question is how would you apply data and data analysis to ensure your continuous improvement plan is focused on closing the gaps? Well, first of all, background to my school is, and I'm doing the school that I was at last year and for 2 years. So, first of all, we're an avid school, so we are encouraging to go to college and doing like note taking and just basic skills kids need to get into college. We are a pre-K to 5, so we have two different pre-Ks. We have one that is a PIP, which means they are special education kids. All those will have IEPs, and then we have another pre-K that's normal, like normal range. They don't have any IEPs or anything, and then we go all the way up to 5th grade.
Okay.
90% of our students are economically disadvantaged, so we are in the poverty range. We are primarily white and Hispanic, with some African American. I believe our African American is actually a little bit more than what the statistics show, but it says we're primarily white and Hispanic. So data collection that we collect with Mastery Connect, which is kind of came with a math program. We do Eureka Math, and so Mastery Connect, you can do weekly testing on our skills. We do, of course, our state assessments, and then Scantron is reading and math, and it basically gives you where they're performing and like what grade level and how they're ranging on level wise. And then we do our FMP. So the only testing we do for reading is our FMP and our Scantron and state assessments. Math, it looks like we check our math regularly. So that's kind of like the background to school. We're very small. We're like 266 kids. There's 22 kids per classroom. And there's only 2 classrooms per level. So
Okay.
that's kind of our background that we have. So do you have any questions?
And what district are you in?
USD 501. So we're the big Topeka district. So we're the biggest out of all of Topeka.
Okay. And you said you use the Mastery Connect for math, and you do that once a week?
Yes.
And do you do that for all kids or only certain kids?
It's 2nd grade and up.
Okay.
So like our kindergarten and 1st grade, the only testing they have is a beginning math and then FMP throughout the year. And then they have a benchmark math in the middle.
Okay. And then how do you review and how often do you do the FMP and the Scantron?
FMP and Scantron are 3 times a year.
Okay.
So beginning and then usually around February and then at the very end of the year.
Okay. And then how do you guys review the data?
So we have our PLC group. So we first kind of get together in our PLC, which since I'm a media specialist, I don't get to go into PLC, but I was a teacher for 9 years, so I have been involved. But what they do is twice a week, they get 45 minutes and they get together with our instructional coach, and then they look at data and they group it by standards. So then they just look at the standards, see what kids are excelling, what kids are not, what strategies are you using, why did this, and we just kind of talk it through. Then we plan another assessment to test again and set up for our next standard that we're going to teach, and then that's just how it goes.
Okay. And so as they go through the standards and they look at that and they plan the next assessment, do they have a way of going back, like kids who are struggling with that standard? Do they have a way of going back and reteaching?
Yes. We do intervention, so we have interventionists. I'm actually part-time interventionist as well as being a librarian. So we have interventionists, and then also we have our whole math lesson, and then we also break those down into intervention groups inside the classroom as well.
Okay.
So the kids that are getting it will be enriched, while the other kids who are not quite getting it get retaught.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. And does that help as far as, I guess, your achievement gaps and things like that? Do you see a difference?
Well, it does, but then when we get to the state assessments, it's like it doesn't.
Yeah.
So I mean, showing progress along the way. But then, and that's my question there is, we have all this data.
Right.
We use it. It's showing that our kids are progressing. They understand the standards. We're not just leaving the standards and moving on. We keep refreshing, but our scores on our state assessments are still not increasing. So it's kind of like something's not matching up.
Right. So I guess, let me see where we're at. So that's what you want to know, right?
Right. That's what I want to know.
Okay. So I'll just do a paraphrase. So from what I can tell, you are saying that you have a data kind of protocol in place to look at it and analyze your data. But then when it comes to the state assessments, you're not seeing the same results from the state assessments that you are seeing throughout the rest of the year.
Right.
And does it show up on your other tests?
It does.
Okay, so they're not aligning is what I'm
Right.
Okay. Very good. So, what I would say is maybe, and I can relate to your school a whole lot what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say maybe one of the things to look at would be how the screeners and the other assessments that you have are aligned to the state assessment.
Okay.
And seeing, are the questions, do they have the same rigor? Or when the kids get to the state assessment, does it up the rigor so then that, they are looking at that and it's tougher questions than what they're used to.
Right.
So, and then the same thing would be looking at the classroom and seeing, are they getting those same types of questions in their classroom and within the instruction? Do teachers go over that and help them so that when they come to that state assessment, it's at that same level?
Right.
And then one thing I've noticed at our school, and we need to do a better job of this, is sometimes the kids get to the state assessment and they don't know how to use the technology. Like, they go, they don't even know how to put the answer in. They might know the answer, but it's like a multiple mark thing where they have to, make multiple connections to something. And the kids are looking at me like, how do I answer this? And all I can say is, do your best. So, seeing if there would be a way, to go in and do those practice tests beforehand. I think that the KPA offers where you can go in. I know with math, they can go in and kind of try it out with the manipulatives. It's not a practice test, but it's got some sample questions that show that it's a question. And then that might help if it's just, maybe if your kids do know it, but it's just kind of a technology issue where they're not, they don't know how to manipulate what they need to manipulate, the technology.
Okay.
Those are my ideas.
So, with the technology, I totally understand that. We have our kids do that as well. They have these tests, the pre-tests that shows the drop downs, but still when you get in the test, it's so different and you can't help them. And I wish you could, but you can't. Definitely something that I thought was really helpful is to look at the classroom and make sure, because we've looked at all our screening and that they are aligned.
Okay.
But and one thing in our school that we are working on is what level of questions, like what level of depth of knowledge are you asking? Yeah. So I know our school right now is doing better with our level 2 questions, where we now need to move them into our level 3s. So that's one thing that would really work, is going into the classroom, and we know that we need to be working on it, but are we doing it, and are we doing it all the time? Mm-hmm. Is it one subject is better than the other? So really look into that. So I will definitely try that next year and pass that along. So
sounds good.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop this.
Okay.